Oh, thing of beauty.
Working.
Okay. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Seal Podcast, episode number 106 for Christmas Eve 2020. How very exciting. No, 2021.
Christmas. It's not Christmas.
Christmas Eve 2021. Soon to be 2020.
No.
Is that right?
No, it's not Christmas Eve,
What year
is it?
is it? New Year's Eve. What year is it? 2021? Going into 2022?
Yeah. Believe it or not.
Oh my God. Can't imagine the amount of trouble we're going to have now. 2022. It just sounds too complicated. These are the big issues that keep me awake at night. I'm Fraser, your host. Welcome back to the Seal Podcast. Very excited to be here. On my left, I'm joined by Neil.
Hello.
We're not joined by any of those other you-know-whats. They've all abandoned ship. But luckily, we called in friend of the show, Arnie, back for a third time, I think. Arnie?
Yes, it's the third time now, yeah. A lot's changed.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Uh-oh. Microphone's going all fucking mental again, Fraser.
Hello?
That's better.
That's better. Right. Yeah. This microphone's going to go shonky all the way through, I think. I put the other one back on, but it went dead. Did you notice it went quiet? I was talking to you for ages, so I had to change it out. All right, if we have trouble with it, then it's going to be a new microphone next time. Sorry, Arnie, I cut you off there. So tell us, where have you been? What have you been up to? What's different? What do you know?
So last time I was on the show, I was just a standard boyfriend, but now me and my partner are engaged. So I'm now it depends on how you view it, upgraded to a fiance. That might be naive of me because of my age. Thank you. I don't know how that's gonna. Loads of people I speak to said, "Don't do it, don't do it. It's a mistake," and I just think you sound bitter, so I listen to you.
Well, the simple fact is, I've known you for a long time, and same with Neil. And you seem to have had a very lovely girlfriend. So I think you're batting well above your average there, mate. You've done well. You gotta lock that shit down while you can before she realizes the truth. You can spill all she'll learn afterwards, right?
But she has no idea. Oh, yeah. I look forward to it.
Good.
That's good. Was it a good engagement? Did you get down on one knee? Were you nervous?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, it was awesome. We was on a holiday getaway in Bath. I was just seeing my friend like the week before, and I said, "Oh, I've been thinking about doing it," and he said, "Yeah, just do it. You're an idiot if you don't." Pretty much for the same reasons you just said. So yeah, just pulled all my money together, borrowed 500 quid from my friend, and he said, "Yeah, do it, or you're an idiot." So yeah, done it.
Good for you. Good for you. Did you go down on one knee, Neil?
Yeah, I couldn't get back up there after.
Good for you.
You done it?
You have to do the one knee thing, don't you? Otherwise, it doesn't really count.
I didn't do the one knee thing.
Oh, I don't think you're actually married then.
No, probably not officially. No, I did propose to my wife on the riverbank.
Did you do it by text?
There were no texts back then, Neil. I don't know.
You done it by smoke signals then.
Actually, there were. We did have text messaging back then, didn't we? We didn't have smartphones.
Yeah, but you could only do one, whatever it was, character text at a time.
It was predictive text, Nokia predictive text.
Oh, can you remember the keys? Yeah, it's press 1, 7, 8.
Those were the days. I don't know. Arnie, do you remember that Nokia predictive text?
Oh messaging? Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
it's like the first time when you're using those Nokia text messaging phones. Remember, it just didn't make any sense to you. It would spit out garbage, and then once your brain clicked with what they were trying to do with the predictive text, the whole new world opened up, and that was it. Everyone was fast fingering all over the place. It was brilliant.
The real trick when I was in school, though, because it was that kind of text when I was in school. And the trick was so you could text everyone in class was just to have it on the standard ABC model, because you just count the clicks on the buttons. It's not it doesn't take long to suss it, and you could just send to everyone texts around school.
Pocket texting.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, no, that's next level.
How'd you read them?
Yeah. You literally just glance down under the desk like this.
Still quite obvious what's going on then.
Absolutely, yeah. It's either that or you just got a hold of yourself. But I think the teacher wouldn't even want to address it either way. So.
So what changes can you see with the Seal podcast then, Arnie? I'm curious.
So obviously this Twitch thing is new as well with the webcam. I was telling you just before the show briefly. Spent 25 minutes sorting out my camera. It's just done through my phone.
It looks good. It's nice and clear.
It looks great. It looks great. I did already tell you something about last week's podcast, the Game of the Year one. Really good podcast. Shame about your microphone, though.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I think. See, none of the guys said that I went quiet, but I have a feeling that what happens is I back away from this mic, and this mic has a very like short, decent distance. Like if you back away, like even just a foot and a half away from the mic, then it really drops off.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of a singing type mic than a.
Oh right, we're going to get treated to that, are we, later?
I'm not the singer now. Arnie's the one with the golden tonsils.
Thank you.
Not me. He serenades people while we play Valorant, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got songs for each of the guns in the game. So.
Yeah. So we have the Twitch thing going on. What else have you noticed? Anything else? Pilch has joined, right?
Pilch, yeah, I was literally about to say that.
Yeah.
Pilch as well. Excellent addition to the podcast. I really enjoy listening to it.
He's
Recently
alright.
found out that it's on Spotify.
Yeah.
I had no idea until someone in was it the group chat? I think it was the Discord. It was like their 5th most listened to podcast of the year.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've been listening to it on Podbean. I find, don't get me wrong, obviously handy because that's where I've been listening to it before. But now, Spotify, it's easy, isn't it? Just open Spotify, it's there, it's lovely.
I guess if you have Spotify, I don't. I'm an oldie. I don't have it.
How does it work? How does it work if you've got a free Spotify account? Can you still listen to podcasts on the free account?
I don't know because I
chuck in loads of adverts halfway through and stuff.
Yeah, probably adverts you won't get paid for either.
No.
Do they put adverts in the middle of our podcast or anything like that?
I don't know because I listen to it through premium.
Oh.
If you get a free account, Fraser, then you try it out.
I have a Spotify account. So not like I don't have a paid account, but I have a login.
That's
but
not
I
like
never
you.
go on it. I never go. For my cold dead hands, Spotify, you get my money.
You're still on the. Oh, in my day, we had Napster. We didn't have to pay for music.
Why do these companies need money? It doesn't make any sense to me. Can't they just give us all that shit for free?
How else are they going to avoid tax?
You remember, like, at some points, I mean, we've been around. When were you born, Are you're 1990, 91, something like that?
92.
92?
Fuck me.
So, yeah, you were a young child just as the internet was getting some steam going.
When did the internet really start? I don't really remember.
Mid-90s to late 90s, right? You know.
When we had 56k modem was the shit.
Oh, I remember the Song of Its People.
I love this. I loved it at the start, though. The thought of paying for anything on the internet in the early days was just sacrilege, right? You know, it was an absolute cowboy free for all. Anything was up for grabs. Anything was there to be pirated, copied, distributed.
Yeah.
Just took about a week to download anything.
Yeah.
I've got the first 10 minutes of The Matrix. Taking a week.
The worst quality either.
Yeah. I'll start downloading it on Friday when we get back from the boozer on Friday night, and then we'll be ready. We can watch it for after dinner on Sunday. Okay, all right. Let's see what have we got here. Have we got any structure to this show at all?
Any interactions are you after? We've had
well,
friend of the show and actual host is the only person who's posted anything today. If you want to do that bit,
can I get a copy of these show notes, please?
Yes, you can.
Could have done this before we started.
Yeah. Okay.
He just wanted to know where his medicine was.
I can't do two things at once. I can't. You've thrown me now. I got to do. You want me to do some work? What's all that about? Let me read these show notes first before I start sending them. So, do we? What did Pilch say? Did he send us something? Did you say?
He sent us a question.
A question. Okay, we'll come to that then. We've got questions in a minute, right? Let's do the normal intros. Fantasy League. Arnie, you're not in our Fantasy League, are you?
No.
No. No one really mentioned it, or I didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, the latter. Right. So fantasy right now, we've had some major upsets, haven't we? Minor upsets.
Minor
Where's the league?
upsets.
Minor. Well, from my point.
Uh-oh. You've gone again. Maybe it's just a cable thing.
No, he's still not speaking.
Okay.
There we go. It's back. He's going to have to get his headset. So, yeah, play the intermission music while Fraser sorts his shit out.
Okay. Can
That's
you hear me
better.
now?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Sorry about that. I gotta remember to make a note here. Edit at Final Fantasy. Anywho,
Final Fantasy? What are you talking about?
Fantasy League, whatever. The
Alright.
Final Fantasy 7 League.
How much have you had today?
Not enough. How today, mate, I've been just in a hole for 7 days. I dropped down to third. It's not, I mean, it's been just a dog's breakfast of the fantasy league, hasn't it? With all
Well,
that
the actual
in
league's been a bit of a nightmare with games getting postponed, cancelled, and God knows what, thanks to the lurgy.
Yeah. Did we talk about after I said that I was going to play my free hit? It actually ended up being a very astute play.
Everyone got an extra one because of the COVID situation. Everyone's been given another free hit now. I haven't used any yet.
No?
No, so I've got 2 to go still. And the new second wild card is now available.
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah, well, there's lots of double game weeks coming up, so that's going to be important. Just to keep an eye on that. Anyway, not to get too boring, I can't really tell you if there's been much change down the bottom, but I know that Vince overtook me to take second. Christian's still, I wouldn't say Christian's powering ahead anymore. He's getting reeled in a little bit here now.
I'm not sure about that. I think he's just maintaining the gap.
Yeah, he's just, okay, fair enough, maintaining the gap, but he's not increasing it. So, he's a mere mortal after all. We can get him.
Well, I don't think I can.
Come on, be positive. You can do it.
Okay. I can do it then.
Yeah, we can do it. Seal Twitch, nothing really to report on the Twitch. I think I did some streaming last week, but nothing really to write home about. And then nothing really on the Discord. So let's just ignore those sort of standard things. And then emails, tweets, and things like that. What do we have, Neil?
So we have a question from Pilch, who, can be bothered to turn up, but he's managed to put a question on.
Okay.
Just lost it. They says, will you stay up to see in the new year, or do you, like me, go to bed at 10:30 because he's not 20 anymore?
Oh, we lost you again.
No.
Fraser, we've lost you.
I think that was, oh, for fuck's sake. I'll just relay the lip reading Fraser as we can't hear him again. Oh, heard that.
It's defaulted, isn't it, to my laptop?
Well, maybe that we'll just leave it on that because it works.
Yeah, but it's going to sound like shit.
Well, it's better than no sound, I think.
I'm going to have to get an emergency. All right, one more time if it goes, and I'm going to go get
your headset.
Whatever. Yeah, maybe. Hang on. Let me just send Arnie these.
I've done the notes. He's got the notes.
Why am I wasting time doing this?
I don't know. I'm fucking
all
all
right,
over
sorry.
it.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to edit all this. This is just awful. Okay. Neil, what have we got from Pilch? Can you read me his message,
Did you not hear it then the first time?
Obviously not. No.
Oh, Christ almighty. Okay, he says, will you stay up to see in the new year even? Or do you, like me, go to bed at 10:30 because you're not 20 anymore?
We actually discussed this over dinner. My kids are asking to do all-nighters. They're 13 and 15, but they're desperate to do all-nighters with their friends. We just agreed. We just said, so what? It's Christmas. It's New Year's Eve.
How are they doing that then? Online? Not all-nighter?
Yeah, they'll just be online with their friends all night. See who can last. And then I pulled the old "I stayed up with them last year" card on my wife, and she's sort of nodded in agreement that she's going to stay up with them this year. So I don't know. I may chip off to bed early, but I remember last year actually I stayed up and it wasn't a big deal. It was okay, so I might do. Arnie,
I'm still in my 20s at the moment, so yes, I will be up. I'm going to a party. Everyone going to the party is doing a lateral flow test. We've got a keg of beer, and I've got 2 bottles of vodka that I'm going to be taking with me as well. So.
are you? So do you think you're going to make it? You're going to stay up till New Year's Eve then?
Yeah. It's not too much of a hardship for me because my job, obviously, I stay up late anyway. So
yeah, you do night work, don't you?
mostly, yeah.
Yeah, you're probably accustomed to that. It's not going to break you like it's going to break normal people.
No. But I think I had like 20 shots of tequila at a wedding I went to recently. That broke me.
That
sounds
sucked.
20 shots of tequila.
Estimated, not an exact figure. I kind of lost count.
How many? What is that? That 20 mils is a shot? Is it 20 or 30?
25.
25. Ooh, it's quite a few.
What about you, Neil?
I think we'll be up. I don't know really what we're doing this year. We've done Zoom New Year, I think, last year. But I don't know what we're doing this year, to be honest.
No.
Haven't really talked about it. We've got some party food in. We're not going anywhere. But yeah, so I'll be having a couple of beers, I suppose, and that'll be about it.
That sounds fair enough. See you online for something then, maybe.
Maybe I'll be like, well, I don't know if that'll go down very well. Maybe I'll just read my book.
Speaking of books, I got a book for Christmas, actually. It's video game related. I got that press reset button, I think. Is it press reset book?
I don't know
Is that what
that
it's
one.
called? It's the one by the guy saying, oh, fuck. I can't even remember. God, we're so badly. Press reset, ruining recovery in the video game industry. Jason Schreier.
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? He wrote something before, didn't he? Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So maybe.
So a similar theme is this one, really, about how making video games is hard.
I guess.
I got a book as well for Christmas, a gaming related book. I got the You Died Dark Souls companion book.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that to me. Yeah. So what's all that about? Is that good?
Well, I started to read it. I read the forward, I guess, and the sort of introduction, but then it goes into it says, let's take a tour of Lordran, which is like the place for Dark Souls 1. I was like, I haven't seen all the places in Dark Souls 1, so I don't know how much I can read without it getting kind of spoiled. So, but it starts obviously in the first area, and that's as far as literally I stopped reading. I was like, maybe I'll finish it before I read it. I don't know. Spoilers for what I've been playing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. Somebody was quoting some parts from it, so it should be interesting. I will regale you with the knowledge once I can get stuck into it.
You read his other book, did you?
You read that again?
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. Did you read that one?
No, I never read that one.
Oh.
Did you?
No, I don't really read books, you know, so
I'm getting excited about reading a book.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell, he's gone again. It's gone.
Headset time.
There will now be a brief intermission. do, 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 do. Sing a song, Arnie.
Song you know.
I don't know. That was some lift music or something. Should have had. Next time I'll have something queued up, ready to go whenever his mic fucks up.
I was trying to see if my phone is getting really toasty because I remember with my old phone when I done this, it felt like it was going to explode.
Yeah.
Excessive heat.
Yeah. That's why I eventually got a new phone because my old one was just foobarred.
Yeah. I'm just too lazy to buy a cam. That's what it is. And
well,
then when
they're expensive, aren't they? Compared to what they should be.
Yeah.
You don't get deals like
expensive.
Right, what we got? Is he back? Got to change your settings now. Oh, nope.
Hello.
Hello, there
Hello.
we go.
Okay, I switched now to my wife's headset, which looks like I'm about to take a call. Yes, can I please have your PIN number?
With the sort
Ah,
code
jeez.
and the first 4 digits of your account, please.
Right. Let's keep going then. The momentum we've got here. Let's go. Okay. What else is on here? So, did everybody have a nice Christmas? Let's get to that then. Come on. Let's talk about Christmas presents. Arnie, what did you get?
So, I haven't got a lot of Christmas presents from my whole family, because I hadn't really seen them. But Maisie got me a Galaxy Watch 4, like the new one that come out.
Ooh,
Great present.
fancy.
Yeah, really great present. Really chuffed with that one. And she always gets me. It's kind of like an us present, but she always gets it for the house. But it's a calendar, so it's like obviously 12 photos of what's happened like this year, sort of thing. And on the front of the calendar was obviously when we got like engaged as well, so that was really sweet. And she got me this Smelly set, not like a Link Smelly set. I mean, like a proper, decent Smelly set.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I like Blue Stratos.
No, it's
Who's that?
from,
Fucking
Old Spice.
bit of high karate.
no, it's from Bath and Body Works. We went to Mexico a couple of years ago, so she's got this thing. If there's a Bath and Body Works wherever we go, she's got to go to Bath and Body Works.
Okay.
Paco
So
Rabanne.
we went in there, and I found like a man aftershave that I really liked. Man aftershave.
Is it called Man? That
No, it's
would be
called
pretty
teak.
good.
It's called teak wood, and it's not really nice. Everyone who smells it goes, "Oh, what? That's amazing! What is it?" And I can't bother to explain it to you. Obviously, this long drawn out story. That's exactly the reason why.
You'll have to tune into the podcast to find out.
Yes.
We can see our listenership grow
Yeah.
every time that someone thinks
It
Arnie
smells
smells
so
nice.
good. I just had to find out what it was. Yeah, so when she was doing her bits, I just thought, I'll just smell the men's stuff. Yeah, and I liked it that much, I bought it. But then recently, Bath and Body Works come to the UK, and she was really thoughtful and got me that as well.
So your Samsung, what is that? Smartwatch then?
Yeah, smartwatch. So obviously, we're getting married, so I want to lose a bit of weight for the wedding. So that's going to help things.
No, you don't have to get up to get to your phone. Yeah, you can just look at all your notifications.
I'm 29 now. I carry my phone everywhere.
Yeah, same.
What about you, Neil?
What,
You
you're
have a
29?
good Santa good to you?
Santa was pretty good. I got to be honest. Like I said, I've already said about the book. Also got one of these. People who are
Ooh,
watching.
PS5 controller?
PS5 controller in some sort of red colour.
Clitoris red. I like it.
Yeah. What is it called?
Clitoris red.
Clitoris red. Okay. Been a while for me. I can't tell. Yes. So I might as well quickly talk about that now because that is a very, very nice controller. I haven't got any games that do all the fancy stuff with the adaptive triggers and stuff, but it is by far the best PlayStation controller there's been. I would say the DualShock 4 was pretty good. I've been using that recently, but this is definitely a step up. And the only thing is, it doesn't work on Forza Horizon 5 for some reason.
Hey?
Like my DualShock works, my 4, and as soon as I put the DualSense in, it just doesn't work, even though it works in loads of other games. I don't really know why. So that's a bit of a bummer. So I'll just have to keep my DualShock 4 handy in case I need it for other games. But
You must have looked this up as to why that would be.
I haven't bothered because it's not
No.
officially supported, obviously, because it's the DualShock 4 isn't officially supported on Windows. You have to have this program called the DS for Windows. If you're playing a Steam game, Steam recognises it, no problem. It recognises the DualSense. Get a little picture of it when you plug it in and all that.
Right.
But anything like Xbox related is not officially supported, obviously, for some reason. But some of the Game Pass games work well, they work on a DualShock 4 without having DS4 Windows running. I think it just depends on the game by game basis. So, but yeah, the Xbox game didn't work. But otherwise, that is now my controller of choice. If I can use it, I'll be using that. Obviously, I
I've
haven't got
heard
the
people.
offset sticks, but
Yeah, I've heard people say that it was just like the best controller they've ever used.
yeah.
I don't know how true
Well,
that is. I also heard somebody the other day say the Elite controller is the best controller they've ever used. So I'm not sure how subjective it is, but I have heard good things about the PS5 controller.
yeah, I have had an Elite,
Mm.
but my Elites are both not in 100% working order. So,
Right.
What is it about the PS5? I think, what is it? The haptic feedback, isn't
well,
it? They
it's
kind of
got
redeveloped like the.
the thing. Yeah, the vibration technology is a bit different, a bit more improved. But the big thing is the triggers. Like if the game programs it, it can increase or decrease the resistance in the triggers via some sort of motor system inside it. So it's pretty clever. I think a lot of people, some people don't like it, I guess, and they turn it off. It might be immersive or whatever, but if you're in like a Twitch shooter situation, you might probably turn it off because it's a bit more annoying when you have like resistance in your triggers. But
the same thing what streamers do in games, right? So if you're a streamer, you like to have high settings because it looks nice, but if you're a professional, you like to have settings lower because it can give you an advantage.
Yeah. Dan's in the chat and he's saying he's got one and he's played Far Cry with it, and he says the triggers in it in Far Cry work really well, but it has to be connected via USB, which is not a problem for me because that's how I do it anyway. But yeah, I'm not buying Far Cry. So,
Any reason why not?
I don't like Ubisoft anymore. There we go. Not that I've really played many of their games anyway. But
Okay. Anything else? Christmas prezzies? Yeah.
Oh, I've got some aftershave, some Hugo Boss.
Nice. High karate?
No, Hugo Boss for me. My wife likes Chris Hemsworth, so he's on the advert. So.
All right.
That's why Maisie supports Man City now.
Well, he doesn't play for Man City.
No, he doesn't, but Jack Grealish does.
Oh, right, okay. Nice calves, allegedly.
I got so anyway. I got a Christmas present. My main Christmas present was a frying pan, which I know will
not a microphone there.
Not a microphone. No, I got 2 USB cameras. Because I think my sister bought it for me and then they didn't take it off the wish list, so it got bought for me a second time.
Oops.
But yeah, I got a new saucepan, nice and thick stainless steel bottomed, proper lid for doing stuff. I've been using that every day since Christmas, just frying up breakfasts and potatoes and all sorts of stuff. I see Arnie nodding in the background there. Arnie and I Arnie knew. I'd already told Arnie I think I was getting the frying pan. We talk about this stuff all the time. A joint love of cooking. So that's been nice. Yeah. Apart from that, a couple of socks, couple of pairs of socks, and
I've got a couple other good ones. My mum.
God.
I don't know what she got me last year, but she always goes for some sort of jokey presents. So she did us all a mug, a personalised mug. I got one with a picture of a sloth on it, and it says "You can't rush perfection." And then,
hey,
what did my wife's one say? Something about there's always someone in a room that's awesome, and it's me or something. And yes, it's me or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it said. My son got one that said, "I'm sorry, did I roll my eyes out loud?" Which is his age thing. And my daughter's
probably quite apt, eh?
Yeah. My daughter's was "Never known without my phone" or something. So a nice collection of personalised mugs for us all. And then I also got a tube of cream, which is called Fresh Bollocks.
Okay.
And this is cream to deodorize and soften your scrotum.
Who bought you that?
My mum.
Brilliant.
I don't know where she gets this stuff. I don't know. But she got me an absolute cracking. Oh, she got me the dumbbell glass last year. That was fucking funny.
All right.
Just
Okay.
imagine the advert for that cream. Have you got a scaly scrote?
Yeah. So anyway, they smell quite nice.
Well, that's good. Maybe you could direct them to the podcast too when people are smelling your balls.
It's not Hugo Boss
All right.
though.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then let's move on then to what we've been. Oh, well, that's sort of. Well, we haven't really done the what have we been doing section, have we? So yeah. All right then, Neil. You might as well just kick us off here, and let's just stay on track now with
Okay,
some
right.
stuff here
Well,
on the list.
what happened the other day? You said something to me about connecting up my receiver and subwoofer and 5.1 surround sound, and I was like, that's a bit weird because I'm not going to do that, A, but I had already that day set up a subwoofer on my TV,
Okay.
which you didn't know about, and I thought that was very odd. But what I'd done, I had the incident with the water coming through the lights and skylights, and so I've been fanning around the back of my TV and got basically around there, and I was like, when I was down there the other week, and I was like, bit of a fucking mess around here with all the wires. And there's been a sub sitting there behind my TV, but it's not been plugged in for fuck knows how long. So
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to fucking have a little play with me plugs, sort everything out, make it a bit more tidy. And at the time, I was like, I've got a spare smart plug. I could put my subwoofer on the smart plug, and then it can just turn it on and off when I want to put it on for like a movie or something. And then so I did that.
So tell me then, how does the subwoofer
Right,
plug
so
into? Where's the subwoofer plugging into? How does it work? What kind is it?
it's got multiple inputs because it's a sub. Obviously, it's powered sub. So it's got its own amplifier and everything in there. So you can use speaker cable from an amp to plug it to wire it up, or it's got line-in inputs. I can't remember. You can like daisy chain the speaker. Like you can put a speaker in, and then there's other ones to come out straight away, like to go out to the speakers.
Yeah, you can do that on one of mine. You bring in through the speaker cables, and it just pulls the.
Yeah, it's got like a couple of knobs, so you can change the sort of crossover frequency and adjust the volume on the other dial. So, but it's a relative volume control, I think. So it'll be, well, it's the way I've got it set up, because what I've done on my LG, there's like a headphone socket on the back, obviously. There was also a digital out, but I don't use the digital out. So I plugged a headphone socket, because I had this cable. I knew I had a fucking cable somewhere. Couldn't fucking find it. So I was like, oh, well, fucking throw that idea out the window. And then what normally happens is looking for something else, and I went, oh, there's that fucking cable I was looking for like 2 hours ago.
Perfect.
So I was like, right, here we go then. That's what kicked it off. And so plugged that like this because it's got a 3.5mm jack headphone socket at one end, but it's got two phono plugs on the other end, line out basically. So I was like, fingers crossed this is going to work, because I knew I could do stuff on the TV. Like I searched it up. The older models, it said you could have internal speakers plus digital out going at the same time, or HDMI out all running at the same time. And I was like, fingers crossed this is going to work. And yes, there is an option for internal speakers plus headphone at the same time. So I was like, that's perfect. So I was just like, plug my sub into the headphone socket, switch the audio, so it comes through the TV speakers for normal sound, and then the sub is active for the extra oomph on the bass.
Right.
So it's all good. And like I say, I put it on a smart plug, so I can turn it on and off on an app. Or what I did do is I went, I could just tell Google to turn the sub on now or turn it off, because of me Google speakers shit everywhere. Or what I have done now is you can set up these things called routines on Google. So if I say to my smart speaker friend beginning with G, not going to say it now, that it is movie time, it will turn the sub on, and it puts all of the lights in the room down to blue, and turns into a specific 100% brightness on blue because it goes dimmer when it's on a coloured bulb, and so we're all ready to go into movie mode. And it also puts my phone on Do Not Disturb as well, but I'm going to turn that off because that's quite annoying when they say it at work. When I'm at work and they turn my phone on Do Not Disturb because it's movie time. And then at the end of the movie, I just say it's movie time's over, and it puts all the lights back to normal, turns the sub off, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that does sound pretty cool. I have my mind has been wandering to smart lights recently, just purely because so if you imagine in my basement, I've got a drop ceiling and then pot lights in the
Yeah.
drop ceiling, and there's probably around where I sit, if I want to watch movies or listen to vinyl, there's probably like 4 pot lights above that area. Then there's 2 more above my daughter's PC. There's another 4 behind where my son and I are. And when everyone was away, I had complete control over that basement. But my magic lighting technique was for me to reach up, and I just started unscrewing pot lights all over the place until I just had like 2 focused down. And then when I needed like life to be back to normal, I go back and I screw them all back in again.
Yeah.
So
It
it's a
is for
very
smart bulbs.
manual way. It's a very manual way of doing it, right? But I've suddenly got more into like some nicer lighting rather than just being blasted all the time by 20 pot lights.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's quite understated. Like a good quality light.
Yeah. Now
Isn't it
you've got
linked
something fancy going on with where you are right now, haven't you?
mood lighting? It improves your frames per second as well. So
Okay.
that's why I got it, and the gaming chair as well.
Right. So what's the lighting though that you've got?
It was just I don't know, 20 quid jobby off Amazon. Self-adhesive LEDs,
Oh, okay.
programmable remote, something a bit like that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Now that's like what we bought. I bought those for
Yeah.
my daughter. So I've done all around her ceiling with the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just
So
stuck it behind my desk, so I mean I can't show you it, but you can see like the reflection off of the wall, like behind this monitor,
yeah,
what it's
yeah,
doing
it's
to the
nice.
room. So.
Yeah, it's nice.
And because it's
Yeah.
LEDs, barely costs any money to run as well. So
But it has nothing to run. Yeah, no,
All my
nothing at
lights
all.
upstairs are all LEDs. So everywhere's LEDs bulbs in my house.
Yeah, it's the way forward. So what's the so how is the sub good? Are you appreciate having some
Yeah,
bass in your life again?
well, to test it out on Christmas Day, we watched The Matrix again. Or we watched The Matrix. I watched it on my own the first couple of weeks back, and we had the family round for Christmas Day. So we had my mum and dad, my brother, and my mother-in-law came round for the Christmas dinner, which was great to see everyone. Everyone had been testing and all that stuff, so we're thankfully all clear so far. Somehow, I don't know how, but there we go. And then my brother stayed on after the others had gone home, and we watched The Matrix with all the, like I said, movie time, and everything kicked in, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty fucking good. Gotta be honest. So yeah, like I say, it's just adds that extra boom at the right moments for. Like this, my TV was pretty good considering it's like this ridiculously thin flat panel, but it's got at the bottom of the flat panel is this pretty chunky speaker arrangement with where all the electronics is as well. So on its own, it sounds all right, more than all right, pretty good for a flat screen. But with the sub, yeah, that sounds pretty fucking good. Like got the
Gives you
volume
a little
set
bit of
nice,
extra
yeah,
heft, right, where
yeah,
you need
definitely,
it.
yeah.
Does the
So
heavy lifting when you need it.
indeed,
Yeah.
I haven't watched too many films yet. I got a few on my list that I want to watch now. So hopefully see a few more in the next few. I want to watch that Tenet. I haven't watched that yet still. So yeah, that'll be one I'm going to be watching. Probably in the next few days. Bit of luck. I did watch another film, which is a Christmassy film. Gremlins, which I haven't seen in fucking donkey's years.
I haven't seen the original in a long time, but
I
yeah, it's
think it's
definitely a Christmas film.
1984. Is it 1984 or something stupid?
Older than
Fucking
me.
old. Yeah, man, well old.
Oh yeah, it's super old. That film now?
It's so it's Steven Spielberg, so it's pretty good. For its
I don't
time,
think he
clearly.
directed it though. Wasn't it?
I don't know.
He didn't.
He's definitely the main name that cuts. Steven Spielberg Presents, I think, is the thing that comes up at the beginning.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought he was just going to have a.
directed by Joe Dante though.
Yeah.
Spielberg didn't direct it. Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, it's very old, but like they're obviously like they're puppety type things, and it probably like I was going to watch it with the kids, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. Not because it's scary or anything, but there's a massive Father Christmas spoiler in the fucking film. If you haven't watched it in a long time, like I have, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'd forgotten about this bit, and yeah, so yeah.
Well, that's
spoiler.
the Debbie Downer bit, right, where she
Yeah.
says why she doesn't like
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah. I'd completely forgotten all about that bit. It's like, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Are
better
you
not.
still living the lie at your house then?
Well, like, I think that I don't really know how. We've not really talked about it properly because it's a bit really. If you approach the subject, then clearly there's sort of hinting at the truth. But my daughter, who's the eldest, asked for something. Well, she didn't even ask for it. She mentioned that she would like something, literally about 3 days before Christmas, and Father Christmas got it for her. And she was like, "How can it not be real?" I was like, she looked literally genuine. I was like, "Wow, is she really doing that for her brother?" Because that was pretty convincing if it was.
Yeah, that's
So,
nice.
yeah, I don't know really.
Fair enough. It's probably the same in our house too. It was never really talked about. Like there was sort of like cheeky nods to each other when my daughter was like, "We're just leaving the milk and the cook and the
I
carrots."
see.
And
We didn't do
everyone
any of that this year. Didn't do any of that stuff this year.
No. Oh,
Yeah.
poor old Santa.
Yeah. Still delivered though.
He always delivers.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, where does all of the cookies and milk go?
He needs them. He needs the energy.
Okay. Has he got a cookie / milk converter into energy?
Yeah, and he takes a
That's
rainbow
what he's
bag
eating
with
it.
him too.
Yeah, you have to leave a carrot out for Rudolph, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know about the other reindeers. No one gives a fuck about the other
no,
reindeers.
just Rudolph. Yeah, no one cares about the other ones. They all bullied him, so.
So what else we got? Anything else?
I think that's me.
Okay. Arnie, you got anything that you've been up to you want to tell us about, or?
Yeah, so Christmas Day, me and Maisie made the executive decision to not have dinner anywhere else, but have it at home.
Very nice.
The main reason being, obviously, we're sufferers of long COVID, so we have that weird taste alteration thing.
Okay.
Kind of makes things taste. I don't know. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's pretty disgusting. But imagine if you work next to a tarmac plant and a sewage farm. It's kind of like them smells combined.
Really?
Certain
I heard
things.
someone say it tastes like petrol. Some things taste like petrol.
That's strange. Yeah, I think it just gets people different.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why we didn't want to go anywhere and be like, we can't eat this because it tastes shit.
Oh, so it's just like some things taste awful to you now?
Yeah.
That's
So I
weird.
spent 2 hours the night before Christmas, so Christmas Eve, obviously, and then 3 hours cooking Christmas Day for a massive roast just for us two, like everything from scratch, like absolutely everything. Barely touched it, just a couple of things, and we both just looked at each other and we just, even though I spent obviously total 5 hours prepping and making, I couldn't even. It just didn't taste right. So
No?
we made the right choice there. Then we went to my aunt's. That was a load of fun. Played games. Yeah, and then we just literally today got back from a little getaway in Bournemouth. That was quite nice.
Yeah, good.
Then what was it? So technology related, me and Maisie have been talking about getting a new TV, copying what we had at the getaway. So have you seen the TV which has like the LEDs on the back, that like reacts
Philips.
to what's on the screen?
Ambilight.
Yes.
Ambilight, yeah.
Yeah, you can get aftermarket attachments to do that as well. Didn't Philips have it? Didn't Philips have it in one of
Philips
their
Ambilight
TVs?
is Philips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be getting a 70. Well, she said 65. I said 70, but we're looking like we're getting a 70-inch TV at the end of January.
Oof, sir. Sir, very nice.
It's the only thing on the wall, so it's
Might as well fill
it
it.
looks, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we currently got a 49-inch TV, and it looks really small because the only thing to reference it is the wall behind it, and it's obviously quite large.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be jealous at that. I want a new big TV. I don't need one, but I want one.
Well, I can heartily recommend the OLED technology. Doesn't come with backlights, but OLED is, or I think the QLEDs of Samsung are similar. They're just like, it's weird. It's like all the best stuff of like Ultra HD of the new technology, but it's mixed with that old CRT like color depth that you get, or like where blacks look black, and because basically pixels are turned off when they're black, rather than still have a light behind them, so they don't look
Yeah.
grey.
Yeah.
So that makes, like, especially for movies and probably video games. But I haven't played any video games on my OLED, but yeah, movies look fucking so much better than on my other relative, well, was expensive 4K TV at the time, but that was a Samsung. But yeah.
Anything else, Arnie?
No, that's pretty much it. The getaway was really nice. We watched SpiderMan again for the second time.
The new one?
So, yes, so we enjoyed it that much. The first time we watched it, we obviously went away and was like, "What do we fill the time with? Let's go cinema again and watch the same film that we just watched." And yeah,
What was
just as
cinema
awesome the second
like?
time. Oh, hang on. Sorry, just gotta go off on a tangent here. Right.
Excellent. Here we go.
Oh God, here we go. Right. So it's £35 for 2 adults.
Oh,
Go watch a film.
you deserve a premium experience when you're paying that sort of money. Let me tell you.
Exactly. So
How was
in
it?
the cinema where I am in Maidstone, they got recliner seats, like electric, like lean back.
Oh,
Oh, it's lovely. Really, really nice. This place, it was just like a box standard seat. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was the little shits who were sat behind us. They were like 10 years old, 4 or 5 girls, just giggling, their phone constantly going, just talking amongst each other. You know, you expect to hear some rustling of snacks when you're eating. No, it sounded like they had the bag and they were going like this with it the whole film. So me being the polite person I am, I waited 10 minutes thinking they're going to pipe down in a minute surely, because they know it's a cinema, you're quiet, you're watching, you're here to enjoy the film. So I turned around and went, can you be quiet please? And they shut up for a little while. They didn't for long, for about 5 minutes. So I just said to Maisie, should we just move, because I really cannot be. We just paid 35 quid, and then because of drinks and popcorn are extortionate, it's like 50 quid. 50 quid, you want a good time, right?
I expect
So
fucking good time for 50. Might not be very long, but
then someone else was a lot less polite, asking the little girls to shut up, basically. They said, "Can you stop pissing around and fucking sit down?" Like that to a bunch of like 10-year-old girls.
right.
Someone had to say it, and then someone in the cinema said to them, "If you don't shut up, we're kicking you out." And then didn't repeat for them again. So.
All right. Okay.
it's already
You didn't
ruined
move.
though at
So
that
you
point,
didn't
surely,
move.
isn't
So you
it?
didn't move. It's stressful, isn't it? That's the
we
problem.
did move. We did actually move.
Oh.
To better seats. To be fair, it was more central after we moved. So yeah.
How do they do it with like numbers then?
Numbers. Oh no,
But-
they don't care. It was just everyone in. That's it.
Right, okay. They're raking in the cashes because I heard something like SpiderMan was one of the biggest releases ever. I'm like in the
Yeah,
middle of a
it is,
fucking
yeah.
pandemic. I was like, how's that work?
Yeah. So obviously they encouraged everyone to wear face masks, but then magically loads of people had exemption passes. I don't know how
Yeah.
they got them. But yeah, so we and Maisie sat there with our masks on, just chilling out. So, but what we've been doing is we've been trying to be responsible, doing like lateral flows before we go out and stuff. But then you kind of rely on everyone else to do it as well, don't you? So
That's going to become a problem potentially in the next couple of weeks, isn't it? Because you can't
it's
get a fucking test.
already a problem. I think the government said they're giving $1 million to like different pharmacies in the UK tomorrow.
Yeah, something's not going right with this wave. We are absolutely so we had COVID run through our family. So my daughter tested positive. She was notified that one of her friends had it. So then we did a lateral flow test on my daughter. She tested positive. Did we podcast by this point? I think I
No.
told you. Did we not?
No.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
I
my
don't think
daughter
so, anyway.
tested positive. Yeah, it may have been the day after that we did the last podcast. So my daughter, we did a lateral flow test for my daughter on the Saturday, tested positive. We managed to find one test spot available at the hospital, at another hospital, half an hour away. So I took her to that. And then we didn't get those results back for 5 days or something like that, which is unheard of. Normally it's a couple of days. Anyways, that came back positive. We already had tests for us booked, but I mean, it's been a lockdown Christmas for us, or an isolation Christmas for us. But we're just hearing everybody's getting it. And they just announced today that they've reduced the isolation times. They've basically said no more tests unless you're a person at risk. And they've reduced the isolation times because so many people are getting this strain. But the thing is, loads of people are getting it, and nothing's happening to the vaccinated. So my daughter had it. I'm assuming that my son had it, and maybe my wife and I had it. Not one of us exhibited any symptoms at all. So my daughter has not exhibited one sniffle. So it's really weird.
The beauty of modern medicine, mate,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it just looks like something's, somebody's got something right somewhere. So,
Mm.
but the ferocity at which it's ripping through the community means now it's still a numbers game, right? That
Yeah.
some people will get affected and get into hospital. So they're trying to mitigate that right now.
Mostly, well, not mostly, but I think I saw statistics like 1 in 6 hospitalized patients are pregnant women
Yeah, we
because
were
they won't
talking
take the
about that
vaccine.
today, weren't we?
Oh
Were we
yes, we
talking
were.
about
Yeah, that's
that?
actually
Right,
yeah, we
yeah.
was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something to be concerned of. But like, but anyway, that it is what it is. I don't know. I think we're allowed out tomorrow. We're checking our numbers. So it'll be nice. If not, at least the weirdest thing to come out of it was, and see if you can wrap your head around this. It's been difficult trying to explain it to my children, but because of the way the isolation works, so we had tests as a family on the Thursday, and then we got notification back just before that my daughter was positive. So if we get our test results back and they're negative, it means we have to isolate from the last point of my daughter's isolation. So 10 days after that.
What, 10
If
days
the
after
test
her isolation period?
her isolation period is over, yeah.
Oof. Wouldn't have that over here, mate. Be off
No,
for like a
but check
month.
this out. But if our test results come back and show that we're positive, it means that we are now in our own isolation timeline, which actually finishes earlier. So
Yeah.
we're sitting here hoping that we get positive results, because then we can, like, it's
Go out
just
sooner.
it's just odd, right? It's just the way things work out. But yeah, and we still haven't got our results. Like I say, they're just swamped or whatever. So we've had a COVID Christmas, but I got to tell you that when we got the results from my daughter, 2-3 days before Christmas, that she was positive, I'm not going to lie, there was like a wave of calm came down over me. It was like, right, well, that's our destiny. No one can tell me anything other than the fact is I have to stay in this house with my family for the next however long. Let's bed down and just enjoy Christmas. And I swear, it was possibly one of the nicest Christmases I've had for a long time.
It's got to be low pressure, right? I mean, you get to spend it with your family, which is, let's be honest, it's what you want to do, isn't it? You just want to chill and spend time with your immediate family, like not having to worry about going here, there.
We
I
didn't
mean,
have to worry
obviously
about
that's nice.
It's spot on, Arnie. You're spot on. We had at least 2 or 3 things we had to cancel. It was like, and we were not overly happy about doing some of them anyway because of
Because of the
things
situation.
taking off. So to be able to just go, sorry, can't do that, cancelled by, it was just, and proper reason, you know,
Yeah.
was
No
yeah,
guilt
it was just
attached.
yeah. But I've also got to say as well, this is the first time I haven't worked in a Christmas for a long time, so it's just been, it's been great.
I can't say the same for not
No.
working at Christmas.
Yeah, well, I feel bad, but then again, like, for the last 15 years, right? I think I've worked every Christmas, no days off apart from the statutory. So I'm lapping it up. And I've still got more days to go. So it's all nice. Yeah. Uh,
It's
and
really
then
understated, isn't it? Sorry, I didn't mean to just cut
no,
you
no,
up,
no
but
problem.
it's really understated how nice it is to have that time for just you. That's why we decided to go away. We can't go, sorry, here because we're going there for holiday.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's nice to have a legitimate reason. You can just chill with your
Mm.
little tribe. Obviously, it's just me and Maisie for our tribe, but yeah.
Yeah, and it was even really nice that no one was online, like playing Valorant or doing whatever for a couple of days. It was just like a forced, just go sit down on your fucking sofa. Go sit down, eat a load of food, shut the fuck up. Like, just worry about where your next cup of tea is coming from, right? Just, it was just nice,
Get
right?
the Rennies in. Get the Rennies
Get
in and
the,
eat
See-
that.
Speaking of Rennies, I've had 12 today.
Oh,
you've had 12 Rennies today?
Yeah, really bad acid
I
reflux.
think
Woke
that's
It
me up.
sounds like
your
it.
daily allowance, isn't it?
Oh, I don't care. If it comes up again, I'm taking more.
ODing on Rennies. What a way to go.
So yeah, and then on Christmas Day we did play a game. We played Catan. So I don't know if anyone's played Catan, but that was all right. That
On
was
a
good.
board game, like actual physical game, rather than.
Physical board game, yeah, physical board game. It was what was nice about this one. If you've played Catan before, you know it. If you haven't played Catan, it's all about you're trying to build. You have say a world map, and you're trying to build cities and connections and roads and whatever, and build resources, and basically it's domination, right? The first person who gets to a particular point wins.
It's like
Well,
Civilization in a board
yeah,
game.
like something like that, where you're just building up stuff. But the best thing about it this year was just like absolutely no fucking mercy on my kids whatsoever. You know,
No
just
going easy.
no, none whatsoever. Like, Dad, come on, can you please trade me one of those brick for a stone? I'm just like, nope, not going to happen. Shut them down straight away. Move on. Roll the dice. Fuck off. Let's go.
Training wheels have been removed.
Yeah, training wheels. Absolutely. Here's the roof. Because if you don't teach this to my theory is if you don't teach your children to be that ruthless, like
So you're
they're
teaching them
just
how to be
fucking gonna get
totalitarian then?
they're just gonna get eaten up. You know, what's interesting is once my daughter gets it, so my daughter is just like, oh, she's on board with it, right? She's quite cut and dry, black and white. She's got it. My son, who you guys know, he's been playing loads of Stellaris and world building and factions and political shit going down. So he was the wheeler dealer at the table, right? He's the one trying to cut deals with his sister. Like, well, if we go in to do this together, we can take out so and so and do this. My daughter's just cutting him. My daughter's learned from me, just cutting him down, shutting the door straight away. Like, no, fuck off. We're not doing anything. You're on your own, son.
Surely you go. Can you not betray like allegiances and stuff in this game? You say you're
I'm
going to
not
do it,
really
and then you
too
really
sure.
stitch someone up.
Well, I mean, there's my wife stitched me up. I'm pretty much sure. My wife made one move on the board, which I just sunk all my plans, and I just so there is sabotage, and whether you're
I've never
trying to or
even.
not.
I don't really know anything about the game. I know it's really like popular and one of the sort of. It's been around a long time, and one of them board games that's like a classic sort of thing.
I tell you the best thing about it was that my wife and I were both playing a very similar game in that we were completely focused on dominating the board with road networks and building cities and building villages. That I'd written my daughter off, and she actually came close to winning. If she'd had one more turn, she could have won because the game is very clever in that it doesn't just exclude you if you can't do that main part of the game. There's other ways to win. So yeah, it's definitely I mean a lot of people know it. It's a really great game. Really great game. Yeah, definitely a good one for families too. But yeah, so that was nice. And then there were a couple of puzzles got done as well, as usual, typical Christmas. So
No Lego.
very. I think my son got some Lego, but not a
Yeah.
lot of it. The thing I did notice this Christmas was more. My kids are getting older, of course. There were more Steam gift cards. My daughter got Valorant gift cards. There was a lot less wrapping paper this year. Like normally there's tons, and this year
That's
was
good. You're
just
doing your bit for the environment.
exactly.
Our
Exactly.
recycling bin was full on Christmas Day. It's now
Yeah,
fucking a week later nearly, and it's been
yeah, we
full
had
for a week.
very little compared to normal, so I was pretty pleased with that. Pretty pleased with that. Good. Okay, well that's what we've been up to. Merry Christmas, everyone. Let's move on
Yes.
to what we've been playing. Arnie, I don't have notes for you on this on what you've been
It's going to
playing.
be
So
a very short list. I think you can kind of figure out. It never changes. It's always the same. So let's start with Dota 2. Always, I've almost 6,000 hours now on it, I believe. So You know, got to keep them numbers up. You know, got to keep current.
Yeah, see, a Dota 2 for me is odd because whenever I see you online, we're always playing Valorant together. So it's like, where do you do most of your Dota playing? When does that happen?
So I'm not a fan of playing Valorant solo queue. I think not most of it, but some of the community could be quite toxic, make it quite an unenjoyable experience. And I just want to play the game to have fun, right?
Yeah, I don't really play on my own very often.
So I play Dota on my own, which is a lot more toxic. But
It's even better.
yeah, but you can obviously, like Valorant, mute everyone, and I expect it to be toxic. Just kind of suck it up, really.
You're used to it after 6,000 hours, I guess.
Yeah, or you should hope so. Still not, no. People still infuriate you. But, you know, it's not just actual Dota. There are custom games on Dota, so like custom modes as such. So they gave some power back to the community about 3 years ago, I think. So Dota is a mod from Warcraft 3. So obviously the Dota 2 bosses or whatever thought, we kind of stole the idea from a mod that was on another game, so maybe we should allow them to mod this game and make stuff for the community. One of the best things they've done. So I've just been playing a few mods.
And when did they do
and
that? Is that something they did recently or?
About 3 years ago, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the other game is Valorant. You know how much I love Valorant, mate.
Yeah, sorry, but go back onto these Dota
Oh,
2
sorry.
mods. Yeah, what's all that about? How different is that from the main
So,
game? Like, what kind of differences are there?
do you remember? Well, you probably heard of a game called Tower Defenses or TDs, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
well, we're familiar with
Yeah,
some tower defenses. Yeah.
yeah. So they got like that kind of mode. There's some unique ones just that like, could only apply to Dota. The one that I play most of the time is called Custom Hero Chaos. So
Okay.
you're against 7 other people. You're in a grid, and you fight waves of like they're called creeps. And then every now and then you duel another player. You get 2 lives. If you die to some creeps, you lose a life. If you duel someone, you won't lose a life until you're in the final 3. And then obviously it's just you're meant to be last man standing, basically. So you fight creeps, you earn money, you can gamble on the duels of other players. And then you can pick abilities as well. Like the drafts 8 abilities in between the first and 8th round. And they're your abilities that you have. You obviously try and pick the best ones you can to help you win. And then it's about outsmarting players. So you get a rank as well. I've got a pretty decent rank at it. So yeah, it's good fun, honestly. But I couldn't talk. I wouldn't be able to talk a non-Dota player into doing it because you have to understand the mechanics of the abilities. And that's why I
Right.
say it's only okay for people who understand Dota. But there are other games that stemmed from it as well. Do you remember Auto Chess that come out? Or
Yeah.
that came from that was a Dota mod. And then that got really popular, really big. I think League of Legends made something as well.
Teamfight Tactics.
That's it, Teamfight Tactics, yeah. So they thought, oh, we want a slice of this pie. And apparently they've done a really good job of it. So.
I tried it, but I didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. Because I never play LOL or Dota, really.
Yeah.
Which one did you try? Teamfight Tactics?
I've had Team... Because you could get that, like, you could play it on your computer, you could play it on your phone, you could play it on tablet. It's fucking one of them ubiquitous things. It's everywhere. But, yeah, I didn't... There's a lot you need to understand about synergies and fucking all sorts of stuff going on. Like, you really need to... Like, I can get through the first few rounds, and then like you just get absolutely dominated by someone who actually knows what the fuck they're doing. So.
But this shows how much of a horrible monster that Valve can be. So obviously they took Dota 2 from a mod that was on a game. It didn't belong to anyone. Obviously, it didn't belong to a company or anything. But then Auto Chess, it was created to be on Dota in the mods section. But because it gained that much traction, taken so many people from the original Dota game and new sign-ups as well, people who didn't even play Dota come over. They thought, oh, we want some of this, but in an actual game. So they made one. It's called Dota Underlords. It's officially released by Valve to be a completely separate entity. Like you have to download a different file, everything. They stole a lot of the pie.
Is that them trying to claw it back from Auto Chess? Did you say?
Well, I'd imagine. I don't think it wasn't Retaliation's Teamfight Tactics. Teamfight Tactics saw the potential, so they released it before Underlords. But I think Teamfight Tactics done a better job from an official capacity. but
Right.
it still has a really loyal player base in the modded community because, you know, that's why people fell in love with it. That's why they want to stick with it.
So how much modded games do you play then compared to the normal Dota 2 now?
Depends. If I'm tired, I won't play Dota because I just get angry at people if they're toxic. So I get toxic myself. I don't like that. I like to play games to have fun. So say we're playing Valorant, and you know when you know, about midnight, everyone goes, "Oh, I'm going to bed now." So okay, see you later, guys. I'll just go on Dota.
And then you mute me because I'm snoring.
Yes. Well, most of the time I'll leave. Just leave you to your own devices. But yeah, I don't know if anyone, if you guys would ever be interested. Maybe not Custom Hero Chaos, but it can be a lot of fun. Like you can play like a tower defense with some mates as well. And I used to love playing tower defense with like a few friends and stuff. Just like it's a
Free
good
to get
crack,
in, isn't it?
guys.
No, the cost of
It
entry is
is
zero.
free.
Just your sanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could possibly be okay. Yeah, the full Dota or for full League of Legends. I just haven't got the time for that right now. I don't think.
Yeah, I
Some
think you've
point
had it
maybe.
for the last few days. To be fair, you could have got into it.
Well, maybe I didn't waste my time. I did devote it to a game with a mod, actually. Yeah. So okay. So that's Dota. Do we want to talk about Valorant? Should we do a Valorant section because the both of you?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. Should we leave the Valorant for you, phrase? Because
I
it's
think
kind
there's
of
much to
kind of
leave.
intertwine.
I don't think there's much to leave because you know what do we want to talk about with Valorant? Valorant is Valorant. I finished the battle pass today, so that's done. I bought
Nice.
an outrageously overpriced skin for my Spectre. To many people's horror, I think it cost me about $18 or something like
What? Hang on. Sorry.
Yeah.
$18 on a fucking weapon skin. You can't even buy a game.
I said to myself, I definitely want to buy a skin. And then that was the first one that popped up, which is on my list of ones I wanted. So
Something similar happened to me today, didn't it, Phrase?
yeah, you went shopping
I think
today as well.
I did, yeah. The Mage Punk Marshall.
Is that the arcane one? No, we've had this discussion already. We had this
we did.
Yeah,
You said it's like the steampunky one, yeah.
Steampunky one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And then I got an Oni shorty as well.
That's right.
Before I left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it. Their skins are decent, but they're massively ridiculously expensive for what they
They're
are.
massively ridiculously overpriced, but I think when you
That's
play
what
it
makes
as
them
much as
exclusive, I guess, isn't it? Like that's why
it makes
you
them
don't see them all the time.
exclusive. Exactly. Yeah. You know, you don't see them all the time, and you know there are some skins where you find them on the ground, and you're like, oh, sweet, yeah, I found this one, and only because I play so much, can I justify the cost. You know, once in a while, I have no problems throwing money at the developer. Like, I'm not a whale by any means. But yeah, a couple of skins here and there. Arnie's waving. He's got a good loadout now. Actually, it's a very creepy guy earlier asking for his skin.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Can I have your skin, please?
Can I have your skin? Nice skin.
Very weird.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but Valorant's Valorant.
Actually, yeah, I'm not sure if it's worth mentioning, but how much we get pestered.
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, because we have the Riot buddies. So on all you have, like you have charms on guns or whatever. Valorant does something very similar. But they call them buddies. But we play with a couple of the employees from Riot, so they gifted us the fist bump buddy, right?
Yeah,
it's
that's it,
basically
yeah.
a Riot, but it's basically a charm for the gun. But the only way you can get it is if you know people. You can only get it if it's gifted by a Riot employee. And so
It's super exclusive. You can't buy it on the internet. You just can't. There's no way you
so
can
when
buy
people, every game now, people see them on our guns, and where you start these conversations, start going back and forth. I think I told somebody today that my dog works at Riot. That's how we got it.
I said I got mine for hacking. And then what was it? I think a few days ago I said, what was it, a 10,000 Sage resurrections or something, was it?
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a good way to get people to force them to play Sage every game.
But yeah, Valorant's good. Valorant is Valorant. All right, Arnie, anything else? I guess we're sort of like crossing over now.
Yeah.
I've got Valorant. That'll do for Valorant. And then I might as well just carry on. I played The Forgotten City. So this has been mentioned quite a lot. I didn't catch up on the fact that Stuart Fowler had been playing this. I missed that on the podcast on Veteran Gamers. I was listening to the Player One podcast in that, and a couple of the guys had this in their top 5 games of the year. So I was paying attention to that podcast, and I was like, I love Game of the Year podcasts, by the way. They're great. And yeah, they had at least 2 or 3 of them had The Forgotten City. And I'm like, how did I miss this game? Like, it just for some reason completely passed me by, even though once I suddenly was aware of it, then I realized that everybody's talking about it. And
It's got a story in it.
yeah, well, it's probably like, I know Stuart was saying, oh, Chinny, you won't like it because it's got a story in it. He was saying that to Chinny. But I loved it. I loved it. I sat through it in 2 or 3 days and just finished it off. I think I probably put in 10 hours or something like that, 10 to 12 hours.
Oh,
But I
would
absolutely
this have
loved it.
got into your Game of the Year list that we did last week then?
Yeah, I think it probably would have. Yeah, possibly, for sure. At least it might have bumped Hades out of the honorable mention spot anyway.
That good. That good.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
I
just
should play
really
it then.
weird. Yeah, you should definitely play it. It's free on Game Pass right now. I played it on my Xbox One. It did not look great. It had some horrendous loading times. It was janky as you like. But the thing is, you have to know that this game was made, like, one guy first originally made a mod for Skyrim uh, with this idea, and basically the whole point of the game, for anybody who doesn't know, is basically you arrive at this sort of, it's like an old Roman city. It's a contained area, but it's a Roman city, and you go and do stuff, and you start to realize that something strange is going on. And there's a thing called the golden rule, which is as soon as anybody commits a crime, everybody is sentenced to death in the city. And the only way you can escape is if you run to the portal and jump back, and then it sends you back, and you start the day over again, right? And so you're trying to do stuff without, one, setting off the golden rule, and two, doing enough to figure out, and progress in the story, figure out what's going on. So like there's I'm trying to give you an example without, I don't really want to give you any
It's
spoilers.
difficult, isn't it, to talk about things
Yeah,
like
it's
this.
difficult. It's difficult to give you any spoil without spoiling. But say, um, it would be the same thing as I wake up in the morning, and it's like Groundhog Day, right? Somebody goes out, they get hit by a car. You go and you know they're going to get hit by the car, so now you can go and save them, right? And in doing so, within the game, when you save somebody or solve the problem, they give you a little bit more information. And before you know it, you have a list of all these things you need to build up and investigate to try and push you through the story. And it's just extremely well balanced in that I never really ever felt like there was any too much repetition. I always felt like I was learning new things, and you're never dying all the time. Like, it's not happening a lot. You can do quite a lot. Like, you could be exploring for hours before you have to rewind the time. And sometimes you rewind it because you want to. You're like, I need now to just reset and take the knowledge. And you take items with you as well, right? So there's this one point, I will tell you, there's one point where I was just rinsing this guy for tons of cash. So then I would rinse him for the money, and then I would go commit a crime so that then I could jump back, go rinse him again or whatever. And I just did that 3 or 4 times just to build up a big fat wallet, because I needed some money to pay off something else, and it just meant that I dealt with that. But
Can
then,
you do something like that in Skyrim as well? Sorry to jump in. I think I used to do something like that.
Bit of save scummy.
You used to, I don't know, just do the mission for a quest or something, and then just kill them anyway, and just rob all the extra cash after.
Yeah,
You get obviously the quest XP, and obviously get paid for doing the job anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you'd get a reputation, right? That's the And plus, with this one, if you killed him, you would. Well, I suppose you could still kill him anyway. But they just
That'd be a way to get you back to the new playthrough, I
yeah.
guess.
Well,
Wouldn't
you
it?
still have to. Yeah, it's another way to break the rule. But it's just very clever. Like it's really worth going in and giving it your time because I think it's just really fucking clever. It's like sounds to me like I never played that 12 minutes, but loads of people were complaining about it. Some people say it's great. If you were looking for a particular type of game in 12 minutes and didn't get satisfied from that, I think this could be what you're looking for. Especially if you like Skyrim and stuff like that too. The world same, it's the same sort of world, even though it's a bit it was janky for me. I thought the voice acting was superb. Um, I really like the environment. That was all great. And like I say, the pacing's really good. They do some really clever things, like when you progress, like you do a ton of stuff to solve a problem, and when you come back, when you go through the time loop again and come back into the world, it doesn't make you do it all again. There's a guy at the entrance who you can tell him to go do the stuff for you, so you can take care of it with a couple of button presses, and then you can carry on and go do some other stuff. So it takes away any grinding feeling like you're having to,
I
there's
think
not
that's
so
a
much.
lot. People, a lot of the complaints for about 12 minutes was just having to do the same things over and over and over again. And
Yeah. Yeah, this one was very clever in the way. Anyway, it was so clever that I ended up watching the No Clip. There's a YouTube channel called No Clip, and they did a documentary with the guy who made it, and so that was fascinating to watch as well,
is that
because
Danny O'Dwyer that doesn't it? Is that Danny O'Dwyer? I think it
he's
is.
not in this one. Some other guy is in it, but this was just amazing because this guy like was a lawyer and he played Skyrim loads in his spare time, right? And then he's obviously off the charts because in his spare time he just made this Skyrim mod. And then the Skyrim mod became super successful or popular. And people at his law firm are like, did you do this? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, well, you need to concentrate on your law career, birdie, birdie,
He was
birdie.
like,
And in the end, he was like, yeah, in the end, he just stuck his fingers up at him and went, I'm going to build a game, right? And but he went at it with a determination. Like he's obviously that kind of guy, right? And he's so motivated. But it's very interesting that he says, like, he put in 80-hour weeks to get it done. And he said, and I'm not condone. He was aware of the industry, and he was like, I don't condone those sorts of hours for staff or anyone. Like he said, but he said,
this was a labour of
I
love, though, really, wasn't it? For him.
well, it was interesting because he just said, I could not allow this to fail. I would not be able to get back into the law profession because I'd quit it. No one would have me back. So this had to succeed. He says, I had no choice but to just work my ass off and get it done. So, you're like, holy shit, this guy's
He's
driven.
not beholden
Anyway,
to anyone else. That's the difference, isn't it? I guess it was just
yeah,
for
well,
it
the
was
only
him.
thing he did, he employed a guy who helped him
Mm.
write a lot of the stuff in Unreal Engine that he couldn't do. He said, like, the thing about it, the biggest challenge of it, well, I mean, maybe I'm paraphrasing, but the thing when you do a Skyrim mod or a Dota mod or whatever it might be, the building blocks are already there.
Yeah.
You're already given all the clay and the tools and things like that to do it. But he said when you have to build your own new game, standalone game from scratch, it was like it's a whole different ball game, right? There was nothing for him to build on. He had to do everything from scratch. But they did it, and so knowing that, and I knew that before I played it, that it was a one man labor of love, like you say, Neil. Um, it just made it it made me really appreciate it. Um, So yeah, it just I can't really. Would it have made Game of the Year? I think it would have to. Just it's got a lot of things that are just amazing about it. Um, so
I
highly
haven't heard of this game
recommend.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've
think it's
heard it
just if it's
mentioned
not on
over
your
the last sort
radar,
of few months.
yeah, a
Definitely.
few people have been chatting about it. So yeah, worth
Oh no,
worth a
I
look.
have. Oh, sorry, I have. I'm being an idiot.
That's all right. It's not a big deal.
As you're welcome
Uh,
here anytime.
you'll fit right in.
Uh-huh.
So that's it. Forgotten City. I couldn't put it down. I hopped out of bed in the morning, just ran straight down. I really enjoyed just sitting on the sofa playing that game. That was on my Xbox One. Like I say, it ran like a pile of turd, But there you go. Still worth a go. Still free on Game Pass, but not on PC.
Yeah, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought it was on there. I'm sure it's on there. Maybe not, but I could have sworn I'd seen it on there.
And that's all I got.
Is that me
Neil.
now?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
you.
Well, I have been continuing with a bit of Forza. It's definitely on Game Pass PC. Just check that. So, if anyone is on PC. Yeah, I've been playing a bit more Forza, playing a lot less Forza than I have been but in prior weeks. Wouldn't say that I'm not enjoying it, but it's definitely got a bit more like busy work than anything else. When the next time it'll be probably I'll be checking out the rivals is the thing that keeps me. If I go in and it says so and so set a time, I'm like, I'm going to go and do that then and try and beat their time. But the general like ticking off things on a list can't be asked. I didn't finish this is the first season a season lasts a week in the game. And it's the first season I haven't picked up the cars. I didn't play it for several days because I've been busy playing something else. And I keep doing a bit of Halo multiplayer. That's my shooty fix at the moment still. I'll jump in that usually once or a day, maybe a couple of times a day. I did play with my son. That was quite entertaining because we haven't really gamed together in a fucking long time. But we didn't play too many games, but we just played 3 or 4 games together. That was quite good fun.
That's nice.
Yeah. It's like he's usually playing Fortnite or FIFA. And I was like, not tried Halo yet. And then all a load of his mates have been playing it as well. So it's good to see Halo getting some love from the youngsters. Because
Isn't it? Won't all the youngsters be going crazy for it right now?
Well, I don't know about crazy, but it's free, isn't it? That's the thing. That's what the kids are used to is, apart from FIFA, is getting into things that are free. Like Rocket League, obviously initially you had to buy it, but it's now free. All the massive games with the youngsters are all the free stuff. Like Fortnite particularly. So I think that was a very important decision for the Halo to do the multiplayer for free. Because it's just a limitless audience almost. But because you could technically not have an Xbox or a PC and still play the game. Might not be a particularly good way of playing it because you could play it on your phone or whatever. But yeah, I think they've got to there's old fogies like me who've been playing Halo for 20 years or whatever, but they need to try and get some noobs in because some people like me, my age aren't playing games anymore, I would imagine, or if they are, they might be playing The Last of Us or something like that, a bit more serious. But and they ain't got the Twitch reactions like me to play the multiplayer games anymore. So that might not be a particularly enjoyable experience for some people who are Halo fans of old. But yeah, it's been good to play a few games with him and not be completely shown up. So,
You school him.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I was trying to set us up because he was going. He's always like, "Oh, you're crap. You're rubbish at these games." Because he's a bit, he's 12, so he thinks he knows everything. And I was trying to set up a 1v1. I was like, right, okay, we'll have a 1v1 then because it's custom games and everything. But he's got a child account as part of the family and everything. But it was not letting us do it. I was like, I really can't be asked to try and solve this problem right now. I was just play some games. So we just went and played some Big Team Battle. I don't normally play Big Team Battle, but he's really into the Big Team Battle. So
I used to love Big Team Battle.
Yeah, I used to in the old days, but the new one, I'm a bit like, it's like the maps are just so big. It's like you never really know what you're going to get, do you, in the big team battle? Because you're not, if you're rolling in solos or duos and you're going into like a 12-man team, it could be an absolute shit show when you get in there. Let's be honest, because it's like someone's in the warthog giving it the toot 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 toot, and everyone gets piles in the warthog, and then they drive off a fucking cliff and kill everyone. You're like, that was great, and then they do it again. But so
I don't remember there ever being much, cohesion in big team battles.
no, it's just chaos generally. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it can be extremely fun, and if you get a good squad together, I reckon it could be actually really good. The big team battle, particularly. So that was good for me to play something a bit different, and I have been in that. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about on Halo. It's very, very good.
I have never played Halo.
Yeah,
Never.
it's
No?
free.
Not once.
Yeah.
I reckon you'd be quite good at it,
Adventures.
to be honest.
Never
Once you
really
get your
wanted
head
to walk
around
away
the different, slightly different mechanics of having a shield, which gives you that. Is the time to kill is massively long compared to specifically Valorant. Like that's like almost instant kill at times.
and PUBG.
Yeah, I mean you can still be insta killed in Halo if someone headshots you with a sniper rifle, but that's relatively rare in that game versus most other like Call of Duties or anything like that.
Don't you? What I worry about with Halo is that, and I find it with games I used to play as a kid, is that you would appreciate it more because you have the nostalgia of playing it previously. Do you feel like that would play a part in?
Well, like I say, I
What,
don't
like-
know. I don't know.
I think we've sort of touched on this a little bit before, but I don't think there may be a little bit of that. But this Halo, and I think Neil will probably agree with me, is they just seem to have dialed it in the way it was meant to be. They sort of lost their way a bit with 4, and we're
I think 4
starting to
was
lose.
multiplayer in 4. I think I had a lot like the big team battle in 4. I have some. I used to play a bit of that, and I thought the maps in that were really good, and the mechanically 4 was quite good multiplayer wise.
Am I
I
thinking
really
of?
didn't get on with 5 at all.
Oh, sorry. For 4, I meant 5. Sorry,
Yeah,
I've lost track of how many there were. Yeah, 4 was all right, wasn't it?
yeah.
5 was just
5
a
was just
bit-
rock hard for me because I was just always getting destroyed in 5, and that's no fun. Getting constantly owned in a game is no fun whatsoever. Like I'm playing Halo Infinite, and there's a lot of people playing, and I'm doing all right. I'm not fucking winning every game or dominating every game, but there's games where like it's got those cues like that gives you that like you're doing really well. Like when you get like a double kill or a triple kill, and the announcer gives it all like triple kill, and then you go on a killing spree, and he tells you you're on a killing spree and all that sort of stuff. It's like that's been in Halo since day one, I think. Really, isn't it? I think it was in Halo
Yeah, I
1, all
think
that
so.
sort of shit. But that still feels great when someone tells you you're doing well.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, they've totally just like it's completely different, probably from Halo 1. I mean, I ain't played Halo 1 in fucking ages multiplayer, but I mean, I know it's completely different. But it's weird in your head. It feels like Halo, but it's got loads of stuff that was not in Halo originally. It's a little bit quicker to move around because it did feel pretty slow in the original. So you're a little bit quicker. There is a bit of an unlimited sprint now, which I think was it 5. We had a time limited sprint.
Sure.
And they introduced grapple, so you could jump up in 5, and you could like climb up if you were in the right place. It would climb you up onto a level, which was never in Halo before. That's still in this one. The grapple hook is the big new thing. You don't always have it in multiplayer. Like that's totally changed the single player. That's constantly getting used in single player. But
Can you do a custom in multiplayer with the grapple hook?
you can do everything on the custom game. There's just fucking every option available to you. You can set up it however many kills you want, how many points for a kill, fucking loads of stuff. There's all the rules you can fucking play around with. You can set it up exactly how you want it to, however long it lasts, however many points to win, how many people on a team, blah blah blah. Fucking absolutely limitless. Well, I say limitless. It's not limitless, but almost everything that you could possibly change in a multiplayer game is available for you to set up in the custom games. And then once you've done one, you save it as an option. So you don't have to fanny around saving it redoing it every time and all that sort of stuff, which is pretty much a no-brainer if you're going to do custom games. But all of the stuff you want if you were doing custom games is all there. Yeah, but they've just totally modernised it. Like with the movement speed is a bit quicker than it all used to be, and you've got a sprint and a slide and all that sort of stuff, which was never really in Halo before. So I find that's my multiplayer game, shooty game of choice at the moment, and it's free to try. It's just a download.
Free to try, Arnie.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but it takes something quite special to claw me away from
yeah.
the game
I get that.
I'm into.
I think you would try. I think if you tried Halo multiplayer, you would nope out of it straight away. It would be so alien to.
I don't know if
Valorant.
you've just got 50 kills in a game. I think that makes you feel pretty good. You might be like, well, I'm pretty good at
Yeah,
this.
he might. Yeah, but it's just so. I feel
It's
not
very
a-
different to
the-
Valorant. That's
Yeah,
very,
I'm not
very
saying
different.
it's bad. This is not a criticism. I'm just saying it seems very loose compared to something like Valorant, right? Very floaty with all that, with the jump mechanic, with the
The thing
time
is,
to kill.
everyone's the same as well. There's no classes or anything like that. You're all the same. So there's nothing to. It's all about sort of the gunplay and the movement.
Grenades and
And
punching.
Grenades, punching, and shooting is the main
Yeah.
thing. And it's simple. It's very basic, very
Yeah.
simple, but it's really fucking well done as far as I'm concerned.
Something I've learned about myself with gaming is that I like tactical gaming. So whether it's Dota, Valorant, CS:GO, Civ, like, because whether you like it, it is still like technically it is a strategy game. You've got to have a strategy to, get the win condition. I'm just a fan of strategy games and always have been. And obviously real time strategy become a genre, i.e. Dota, and obviously a tactical shooter as well. So I think that's just if Halo is very much like that, I think the reason why Valorant has a high appeal to me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's more. Well,
I don't think
there's definitely a style.
I don't think you ever really employ tactics, though. Like, I mean,
you can think your way in, you can think your way into winning a situation. You can play it clever to win. Like you can the difference between this and most other shooters is if someone shoots you first, it doesn't mean you're going to die. So, like if you don't see the person who's shooting you, it doesn't mean you're definitely going to die. That you're not going to lose that encounter potentially. You can still turn the tables on that person, and if you do that, it tells you you've done that. It says reversal or something like that. So it's like, we know that you in any other game you'd be dead by now, but you fucking worked your way out of that and killed the other person, and it tells you you've done that every time you do that. You get all your medals at the end of the game. So I think, like I say, it's not for everyone, obviously, but it's the best Halo multiplayer, I think, that I've played.
Well, I'm happy they've done a good job, because I know a lot of people were waiting for it as well, weren't they? So it's good that they've done that so well.
I've played all the multiplayers of Halo, and I think, I don't think it'll ever really replace the whole connecting your two Xbox One originals together via a LAN, a fucking Ethernet cable, box to box, and two TVs, and having people in a room together. That was that was definitely a moment in time that can't be replaced. But mechanically and everything else,
Sorry, just touching on what you just said, like when you obviously even before like LAN capabilities, your friends come over and you do split screen. A 4-player split screen on, and let's be honest, TVs were a lot smaller back then as well. So you have to sit like this to the screen. That's something you can't ever capture again. That's a time gone by that we can try and explain to future generations, and they won't believe you, or they just won't be able to.
That sounds shit.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what that is not dead yet, and I'll tell you what game is keeping that alive big time is Mario Kart. Loads of people are still getting together
Mm.
around people's houses and
Oh,
doing
yeah.
Mario
They're
Kart.
even
Yeah.
playing it on shitty little Switch screens. Multiplayer.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
screens are even smaller.
Ah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
can't think
because
of any other games that are really doing that nowadays.
Yeah.
no.
Mm.
But
So
yeah,
Halo
like
continues to be good.
yeah, it's still like I say, I don't ever like whenever I play it, I don't go, oh, that was shit. So I always think, yeah, that was pretty cool. Even if I lose, I still there's enough wins in there in a game usually to like you don't ever get completely dominated in a game usually. You can, like I say, you can turn the tables on people and win at 1v1 that you think you're going to lose and at one point. So, like I say, I think it's excellent, and I'll be playing it for a while yet, I should think. But I have one main game that I've been playing. Did allude to it earlier. I've done, according to Steam, 58 hours in the last 2 weeks of
It's
Dark
like some
Souls
mistress
Remastered.
that you're having.
That's
You're
a
having
good shift, that is. That is a
Yeah,
good shift.
that's not bad going. I did
Yeah.
like the other day. Don't know what day it was. I don't know. Felt like I played it for a good 7 or 8 hours in one day, just sitting there like chipping away at it. I had a chat with my brother because he's very near. Because he's got like obviously this. I'm playing the remastered version on Steam of Dark Souls. He's got the original, what they called Prepare to Die edition on Steam. So it's basically it's the same game. It's just I think it's less of a thing on PC because there was mods released for the original game that meant you could play at 60 frames per second and stuff like that. Which this is the key difference I think on the remastered version for the consoles is that the originals ran at a hopeful 30 frames per second. Not necessarily achieving 30 frames per second, I think, on like the Xbox One and PS4. And then they remastered it and it's now 60. Actually, what was it? It was on the 360, wasn't it? Dark Souls. Dark Souls is 360 era, so yeah, they were pushing those consoles to the absolute limit, I think, back in those days. And then it's been remastered for the newer generations. It runs at 60. 60. I'm not funny. I'm a bit of an FPS snob, I guess, but I know a lot of people have got the newer consoles and they're like, the frame rate is the huge thing that makes games much more enjoyable. And which is one of those things that us PC snobs have had for a long time is the extra frame rate.
I agree with you. I am definitely a frame snob. I'm not sure if Fraser remembers this. It was a few months ago, and my monitor accidentally defaulted back to 60. And I was in the middle of a game. I went, "Oh, what is going on here?
horrifying.
This is disgusting." I couldn't believe it. It felt like such a
Slumming it at 60.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think that's literally what you said as well. Oh, slumming it like the rest of us, I think you said.
Yeah. 60 is plenty, in my opinion, for most games. Certainly, like action games, like single players, 60's amazing. If you're playing CS:GO or whatever, you want it running at about 800, obviously, but a bit unnecessary for most people. So yeah. Anyway, so the game basically is the same game. It's been since 2009, 10 when it came out, maybe 11. And I played Dark Souls 3 first, which is obviously a bit of a weird order to do things. But that was the game I got first in a bundle. And that game looks a lot better visually than the remastered version of Dark Souls. Much prettier, much nicer, generally, graphically. However, that's not to say that remastered Dark Souls looks shit. It looks decent, but it's definitely older.
Right.
But like for someone, like I said before, a few weeks back, whenever we had the question about it, whatever it was from Jay, wasn't it, about something you hated but then you turned out to love. Dark Souls is just so fucking genius, just genius game. Couldn't get on with Demon Souls back in the day. I didn't understand what was going on, and then never ever played anything until played Dark Souls 3. So
What makes Dark Souls so genius? Because
It's
obviously
just
I've heard of Dark Souls. You got to treat me like a layman here. I'm not
right. So
well
it's
versed
really
on loads
difficult.
of games.
Like it seems like loads of people play it and just bounce off it. 'Cause it's easy to die in Dark Souls, but dying can be annoying depending on. But it's all about a bit of a getting into a mindset. It's like I am going to die at some point. I am going to die. When I die, I'm not going to get annoyed about it because that's part of learning. So it's very. You have to be like to win an engagement. You've got to do the right thing, basically. And it's like not you can't just go in. It's not like a hack and slasher where if you button mash and you'll win an encounter. You cannot play the game like that. You have to take every encounter, like basically try and make it as much of an advantage as you can have for you to you. So you might go into a situation. There could be like 3 enemies round a corner. If you go and try and take on all 3, there might only be like noddy enemies, but they can easily kill you if there's 3 of them. You're outnumbered. Like you could hit one, but the other 2 will just fucking annihilate you straight away. So you've got to play clever. It's like you can call it cheesing or whatever, but you've got to make every encounter like try and make you have the advantage in every encounter. So
Yeah.
you can aggro one of a group to come and attack you, but like you'll get one to move towards you and back out to a nice open area where you've got some space to move around. If you want to try and have a fight in a little tiny corridor, could go very badly wrong, depending on the enemies. It gets to a point where you've upgraded so much that the minor enemies are not going to do that much damage to you, and you just like if they hit you, it doesn't really do anything. But when the very early stages of the game, you can easily die. And one of the weird things, I guess, or that can throw people off, is you can very early in the game you'll hit a boss encounter, and it'll be very fucking hard to win that encounter. Like the first one in Dark Souls 3 comes at you in the first 20 minutes or so, and I played that same encounter over and over again on stream for nearly 3 hours until I beat it.
Oh man.
But and that is a particularly hard one, I think, in Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
I don't think anything
Do you
in
have
Dark Souls.
to? Do you have to take that encounter? Or,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
it sounds
That's
like
a
it's too
progression.
early.
That's literally you can't progress in the game until you've beaten that guy.
Right.
And when you beat him, you're like, how the fuck has it taken me that long? Like some people probably don't. They just go beat him. But it's like it's all about reading the tells and getting your timing absolutely right. There is a parry mechanic in the game, which can be if you can nail the parrying. I've never got on with the parrying at all. So if someone attacks you and you got your shield and you parry at the right time, they will stagger and you'll have a massive damage boost to any attack that you do while they stagger. And you can like those bosses can probably wipe out very quickly. But I can't get the timing at all on the staggers, on the parries. So it's more about avoiding it or blocking it. There's just loads of numbers in these games. Like you get so many weapons, so many shields. As you progress through the game, each shield has got like different stats. If you've got 100% block on physical, like anything that's just a normal weapon, you just hold your shield, and you won't take any damage. However, every time you get hit, it takes your stamina. If you run out of stamina, you're fucked, and you'll take 100% damage of whatever they've got on you. There's so much. The combat is really good, and then the level design is the thing that just fucking blows your mind when you play a few levels and you're fucking off down all these corridors, down these tunnels, down these routes, and then you turn around a corner and you open a door and you're like, oh, I'm back here, and I've now opened a shortcut to this fucking place that has taken me like the last 2 hours to get through. I've now can get there straight away.
Do you feel like that's why Dark Souls does so well? Is because it doesn't sort of pander to like
Yeah.
a casual gamer. They actually make it really rewarding because of how difficult
It,
it is.
I mean, I think casual gamers could have fun with it,
Yeah.
but it's diff. Like I don't know. What do you
thing
call a
I was going
casual
to say
gamer?
was the thing I was going to say is I think what I gather from these Souls games is you have to treat them with respect, but they're
Mm,
fair, they're honest,
yeah.
right? They're like you can definitely beat any of these guys, but there are rules in place, and if you don't figure out and adhere to the rules, you're going to get slapped. And I felt the same thing with Metroid Dread, right? Everything was pretty hard when you encountered it, but they were always fair. It was like nothing was cheap.
No.
I don't remember any. I like I told you, I played a bit of time with Bloodborne and really enjoyed the time I had with it. I never felt like the game was unfair. Hard for sure,
I
but I
didn't
never
really
felt
get
it
on
was
with
unfair.
Bloodborne. I know a lot of the Soulsborne fans, so I really love Bloodborne, but
I think Bloodborne was just felt a little bit more accessible for people. There were I
mm,
think that I was one of those people. I was there. We'd all, I tried Dark Souls, didn't really get on with it, but I also knew that there was a great concept there, and it felt like Bloodborne was a little bit more accessible for
I've
people
I've
to enter in a different
I've gone
area.
back to it, and because like I said, that whole frame rate thing, it's on PS4, it runs at 30, and it's just not very nice.
Right,
After playing it like all these games at 60, it makes such a difference to how it feels, how it reacts to your inputs, and how you feel a bit more in control of what's going on when it's
right.
running at that much, like double the frame rate. Um, like I said, they're
They've got
definitely not
300. They
games
got.
for.
Oh,
Go on.
sorry. Go on, you go.
No, go on.
I was just going to say there's some 300 hertz screens I've seen out there now, which
Yeah,
are
well,
crazy.
literally, you can't play Dark unless you mod it. It literally only
Mm,
maxes at 60. It won't go above 60.
mm.
Uh, so you don't get any of that massive advantages by playing on like higher end equipment or monitors or whatever. But 60 is fine. It is a huge step up from playing at 30. But there's definitely a part of the game where it's not going to be for everyone. And we're like, I need some resources to progress. Like you need to level up. So you want extra stamina, you want extra strength. It's like all that RPG shit's in there, like strength, dexterity, endurance, health, effectively. It's called vitality in Dark Souls. The thing for me, coming from 3, is there's a load of stuff in the first game, like that works a bit different to how it works in 3. So I'd played 3, and they've refined a whole load of sort of systems that work really fucking. It's like not easier, but it makes a bit more sense to the layman. But then going to 1, I was like, there's all these different mechanics, like things that I knew how to do in 3. I was like, I don't understand what this is. I don't know what's going on here. Like, I'm not. There's different stats. There are a load of stuff that is the same, but then there's a few things that are different. And I was a bit like, oh, I don't really know how this works. And I was chatting to my brother. I was like, it's like, oh, this thing called humanity. He's like, you need to have humanity because that increases your power with certain things. I was like, I didn't know that at all because that wasn't in 3. So like I've started as a pyromancer, so I have fire abilities. I can like cast a flame ball and shit like that, throw flames at people. Don't actually end up using it that often because it's really slow. And if you fuck up the timing on that, like the time it takes for you to like create the fireball and throw it at someone, and it's not got a particularly long range, you can just get absolutely annihilated if you don't do it right. So yeah, it's just I'm absolutely loving this one. I was
That's
a bit
good.
like I'm not so sure about the first one after playing the third one, but like I say, having a bit of a chat with my brother the other night and understanding a few things. I was streaming that there's a battle against a big fucking dog, a wolf if you
Yeah.
go a certain area. So I was streaming that the other day to just a couple of the guys in the Discord, and I was doing the right things. I knew I was. I felt like I was doing the right things, but I was just hitting this thing, and it was just like tickling it. It was like, I'm
Yeah.
seriously not powerful enough to take this thing
For
on
the
right now.
amount, like, I really wanted to watch you beat that boss, but it was
Yeah.
like I watched you for 10 minutes and you only took him down to like a third and then got
Yeah.
killed.
Yeah.
Like I would imagine 10 minutes is enough time to really take someone down.
Well, you can do it. Like if you're the right level, you can take bosses
Right.
down really
Yeah.
quickly.
What I'm saying is, this is
Mm.
like, dude, you are, like you say, just tickling it. It's
Mm.
like when you know. So you think you said, oh, I'm gonna go off and level up, right?
Mm. So I did do some farming, and like there's a run in the game where you go to a certain area, and there are some rats. So rats have a higher percentage drop of this thing called humanity. So you go through the same route over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you farm this stuff. So that I did it for like, I don't know, a couple of hours, just doing the same thing over and over again. So you've got to be willing to do a bit of legwork every now and again to do the good bits. So they're like, that can put a lot of people off. But if you don't do that, the rest of the game's not going to be no fun at all anyway, because you're not going to be high enough level. You're not going to have enough of this resource or that resource to be able to actually do the things you want to do. So it can put a lot of people off, but those things like that is pretty chill when you're doing it. It's just like, just fucking, I know what I'm doing. Just block that thing, hit this thing a few times, and I'm just like, well, I'm not exactly enjoying myself, but I'm just in this kind of happy place where I'm just killing things
Just
and like
just
pick
lost
things
in it.
up,
Yeah. That's fair
fucking
enough.
go and do it again, do it again, go and do it again, do it for a couple of hours, and then I'm like, now I've got all this stuff, and I can go and do a bit more exploring, and I can go this other place that I couldn't do before, and I can now actually do some damage to this fucking this character that I couldn't do anything to before. So I know I'm at a point in the game where it's, if you go and look at like the top so many bosses in Dark Souls, it's in the top 10 of all time. And I'm like, yeah, I know this next battle is going to be massively difficult, and it could potentially, it's one of those like, fuck off every fucking 2 minutes. It's called Ornstein and Smo or whatever, and there's two guys.
How much will you prep yourself going into this
So
battle? Will you
I've
read
got
walkthroughs and find out about it,
I
his weak
know.
spots?
I don't know about that. I try not to read too many spoilers. Like the other day, like I was doing that. Like I said, we were doing that wolf boss, and I'd clearly, like, the thing with these games, you can basically go wherever you want if you find the right routes. So that route I'd gone was probably the wrong way to go for the and I needed to be a higher level really to go and do that. So because there's like right at the beginning of the game, it says you've got to ring these 2 bells. So the first thing you do is go and ring this bell. Like you go through this area, fucking kill all these easy-ish enemies, and you ring the bell. And it's like, that was relatively straightforward. And then I just fucked off and did loads of other stuff, and never went and rang the second bell because I'd got sidetracked into going this different way. I was like, got sort of like, oh, I can go and get that stuff. That looks cool to go and do that, go in that place. But it wasn't really. I really needed to go to progress through the story, inverted commas. And I should have gone this other way. And then I got completely, for fuck knows how many hours, I was just doing the wrong thing, basically. And I was a bit like, actually, I just need to go and fucking do this thing. So that's where I've got to. I rang the second bell, and that opens up this whole new stuff. It's just fucking absolutely mental.
Does the game foreshadow before you're about to enter a battle as well?
Yeah, you don't get like weapons lying around or anything like that, but you're like, there's these things called fog gates. So like there'll be like a big archway or whatever, and it will be like literally like a stream of like fog, so you don't see what's on the other side of it. Sometimes you go through and it's just a new area of that same map, and other times you go through, oh fuck, you're in a boss fight, and you're like, oh shit, I wasn't quite ready for that. I've got like you have these Estus flasks like boost your health back up if you get hit. So I've boosted a load of that up. There's so many mechanics. Like I say, I know it can really put people off, and it definitely is a game that it's good to have a little page ready to go. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I just need to have a look at something to help me out. And there's no shame in that for me. I'm I've read this book I'm reading, or started to read. They all played the game before it was released. So they went to a review event. So there was no knowledge at all of any of this stuff that is now. There's fucking pages everywhere about everything about Dark Souls now. And all of the fucking lore and shit and all the backstories. That not necessarily immediately obvious in the game. There's so many fucking things that you can do with characters you'll meet in the game. You can kill a random person that turns out to be really important to the story, and if you've killed them, then they may have helped you. In 12 hours time, it turns out that you could have called on their help to help you beat this boss, but you killed them because you didn't know any better at the time.
Yeah.
There's fucking so much stuff. It's mental, absolutely mental. And like I said, the whole trekking around this whole new area. It's huge. Like I say, when this came out on 360, it must have fucking blown people's minds. If you'd have played it at the time, just how complex the verticality of all the levels and going around all these fucking routes and opening a door that turns out, and you're you walk around the corner, and you're oh fuck me, I'm back here. I didn't know that was going to happen, and now I can just go to this the bonfires are where you rest and heal up and all that shit. So you go back to your bonfire, get all healed up, and then you back off straight down this shortcut that you didn't. No, that was the thing in Bloodborne as well. But I found it super frustrating in Bloodborne. I don't know, but something happened in my head where I got into this, and I can deal with. I don't know. I can't go and play Bloodborne the way it is on my PS4, but
No, I think I could be persuaded to maybe take a step back into one of these. If I was to dive back in, what would be your recommendation to start with?
it's difficult to say. I haven't finished I feel like the first one is really complicated, and apparently the second one's even more complicated. 3 is definitely looks the best, and they've refined a lot of the systems, but I think I might have missed a bit by playing 3 first, and not starting at Dark Souls. Demon Souls on the PS3, I wouldn't even bother with. That's just fucking rock as fuck. That game was. That was mental hard. That was their sort of almost experiment. Although a lot of people loved it, but that was really fucking hard. I think compared to, I never really went back and played it again. I guess, but I liked Dark Souls 1 / remastered. Well, the thing with that is you can't pick that up very cheap. Remastered usually. I managed to pick it up. That's the most expensive one of the 3 Dark Souls games. Usually, is the remastered original. And you can't buy the old Prepare to Die edition. It's not available for purchase anymore. But I kind of think you probably best off starting at the beginning. But you can pick. I think I picked up. Like I say, I got 3. 3 is regularly available for fucking £7 or something stupid. 2's pretty cheap, but first one is, I think, was about £15. The cheapest I've ever got it. Never managed to see it, something like that. And I picked up 1 and 2 for £20 a little while ago. So,
maybe one day.
Well, you finished the Forgotten City now. You might as well. You won't play Inscription, so.
I will play Inscription. I don't know why you think that I won't.
I've got to mention it every week.
Of course you do.
But yeah, see, Dan's saying there 3 is £10 on Steam right now. But yeah, remastered will be fucking £20 probably or something stupid.
It's a no-brainer to go for the remastered though.
Well, there is the only option if you want to play the first one is remastered, but I can't ever see them coming to Game Pass. To be honest,
they're Sony, aren't they?
Well, I mean, Yakuza was massively Sony game. Yakuza was hugely Sony, and they all ended up on Game Pass somehow. I don't know what the fuck how that fucking happened.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Crash Bandicoot was extremely Sony, and he ended up on Steam. So, and pretty sure Xbox now as well, right?
I think that went on everything last time around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just something else, really. Like I say, there's a reason it's got like this sort of cult following. It's just extremely well made, extremely complex, but extremely satisfying when you do it well. Like, it can be massively frustrating, but when you, like, there's no other game that makes me feel like the other day. Was it yesterday? You can, like, in the first game, you start off as like you're undead. That's the fucking whole deal. Is undead. So that's why you can heal yourself when you take damage and all that bollocks. Whatever, all the fucking lore behind that. But you can return to your human form. This is where you get gain this humanity. You consume it and you return to your human form. But while you're in human form, this is the difference between 1 and 3. It was something different in 3. While you're in human form, you're basically online, and then people can invade your game, and you can invade other people's games. That's a whole fucking subsection of this game, which I haven't really talked about at all, is the online PvP and all that stuff, and the co-op. Like, I have used real people have come into my game and helped me beat a boss. And then, like I say, the characters, like I said, if you accidentally kill someone, you may, if you're in human form later on in the game, they might have like a little sign on the floor. You summon one of these NPCs to come and help you. They'll take all the attention from the boss while you wail away at their fucking back or whatever. Or like, I did a one boss fight. I literally killed. You have to kill this NPC. Like, because I was in human form. Some of the NPCs will invade, inverted commas. If you kill them, then you can then call on them to help you out at certain points in the game, scripted sort of thing. So I did that recently in one of the boss battles. It's like a spider woman. She's like a top torso of a woman, and then it's just like this fucking giant spider body, and she's fucking on fire, and it's fucking absolutely bonkers. The bosses are mental. And yeah, so I beat this random NPC. She then come and helped me with the boss, and basically just killed the fucking boss for me. I barely touched the boss. She was just absolutely wailing away at this thing, and I was like, okay, I'll just like try and hit a couple of stabs here and there. And just like, I was like, oh, she's dead. And the NPC had basically killed the boss for me. So, but like I say, when you're in human form, other humans can then invade your game. And like I say, this game originally was like 2010 or whatever. The remastered, I don't know when it came out, 16, something like that. There's still fucking loads of people playing this game. I was talking to you and Matt Fraser yesterday. I'd gone out for a curry, come home, bit pissed, loaded up Dark Souls, was pottering around doing some stuff, and I was like, oh, been invaded. Another person came into my game. And they're like surrounded by this red aura. So it's pretty obvious who they are, and you can see their like Steam name or whatever on fucking screen when they come in, and they're like rolling around doing all their fucking stupid emotes and stuff like that if they want to. So we had a fight, and I actually beat someone. I was like, yes, I fucking beat a fucking yes.
Nice.
And then today someone invaded me, and I fucking got my absolutely arse kicked. It was just like we were both like shields up, like, well, he just had a sword, a fuck off giant sword, and I was like walking around with my big spear and my shield in one hand, and we were both like circling each other. I was like, he obviously wants to fucking get behind me, so I just kept moving, and so I went in. He fucking went in for an attack. I think I blocked it, and I went in for an attack. And the little fucker just dodged out of the way, went straight around my back and just stabbed me in the back and killed me with one hit. I was like, fuck. But it was like, oh, well, whatever. That happens. It's just like, you can't be in a bad mood, I don't think, when you start playing it. Otherwise, you will not have fun. And you got to, like I say, you will know that you are going to die. But you just got to accept that. And it's part of the learning process. But just fucking, like I say, this game's 10 years old or whatever. It's fucking brilliant.
I just got a beep to tell me that my headphones are about to die. So 2 seconds.
Well, I think that's probably then. Are we? I think we're done.
I think so.
aren't we? Yeah, I think we did what we set out to do. I'm just was pleased that we hopefully there's no problems. I mean, I
Well,
get the shit
maybe you need
edited
to do
out
a bit
from
of
the
editing
start.
this week.
A little bit of editing at the start there. Maybe just take out a couple of the crappy bits, but it was just our intention just to try and get a show out. Because time flies over the Christmas holidays if you
It
don't pay
does.
attention to it. So Arnie, if I can just say thanks very much for joining us. Pleasure to have you back.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. Both of you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
no problem. Thanks for filling in the gap, and you're welcome anytime. Dave and Pilch, sorry you couldn't be here tonight. We'll catch up with you guys soon. Do we have any idea who's been in the
We
Twitch?
have had
Hardly
Hardly
Dan's,
Dan's have
Lord.
been here the most of the time. I've hit Lord recently, Baron from Glower. Glower? I don't know. I never really know how to say that. Lord. Oh,
Oh,
Dave's here.
Dave's in there now.
And just wondering, I think that was Paul W. Was in the chat as well. I think that's it.
Nice.
So
Well,
thank you everyone who
Dave,
came along.
yeah, I think Dave was doing the dutiful. It was his wife's birthday, I think, wasn't it? Isn't it? Happy birthday, Mrs. Dave. And poor Pilch is working like a slave.
Yeah.
Don't care. We don't care about that. All right. Well, look. Have yourselves a great new year. Thanks to everyone
do.
who's been with us for this year's journey. Again, Arnie, thanks for being on. And
Thank
that's
you.
probably about it. If
is.
anybody got any final words?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
See
See
you
you
on the other
guys.
side.